Hi guys, so I'm going to show you how to make a homemade water feature. Now if you buy a water feature from a garden centre, you'll pay anything between 80 to maybe 150, 200, maybe even £400 for a water feature for your garden. Now I'm going to cut that cost for you and show you how to make one yourself. It's pretty easy, pretty simple to do. So first of all, you need all the items that are listed at the beginning. I'll also put a link to everything that I got from Amazon. So everything that you can see here, I bought from Amazon. So it's easy to get hold of, whether you're in the UK or abroad, anywhere. I've bought these plant pots, and they are like a grey wicker style of plant pot. So it looks like it's wicker, but it isn't. It's plastic, so it's waterproof. So if some of the water from the water feature gets onto it, it's not going to ruin your pot. So it is actually plastic. It's quite strong plastic. So I'll put a link to that as well, where you can get them from. The actual water feature itself, the fountain, is solar powered, and it's just on top of that poof there in the corner. Can you see? I'll show you that later, how that works. It's solar powered, so as much sun as you can possibly get onto it, the better it'll work. So it has to be in full sun though, so it's not going to work at this time of year, but I'm just showing you now how to make this so that you can put it outside come March time, when the sun starts coming out a little bit more. It starts getting a little bit warmer. So first task is, you need to get the bucket and you need to get the grey slate out of the box and put enough grey slate in. Just do a little bit at a time and wash the grey slate using some slightly boiled water from the kettle, just to wash all the dust off, because it's been in the yard where it's been made and it's just covered in grey slate dust. So that's why I'm keeping it in the box and then just washing little bits at a time, so you don't dirty the area where you're working. So you just put it straight into the bucket and then pour the water onto the grey slate and wash it. That's the first task, because if you don't, it's going to block your fountain and the pump won't work. So you need to wash the slate first before you put it onto the water feature. That's the first task. Okay, then first thing I'm going to do is get some grey slate. I've got some gloves on here so that I don't dirty my hands, because it is very, very dusty and you will just be an absolute mess. You need to put the grey slate into the bucket like that. Just get a few pieces at a time. You don't need to do a lot at a time. Just get a couple of handfuls. Okay, so once you've got some of the grey slate in the bucket like that, you can hardly see, but it is in there. You get your kettle of water and you pour it into the bucket on top of the grey slate and wash all the dust off the grey slate. So once the grey slate's in the bucket, you give your bucket a little bit of a swish like that, so it just washes all the dirt off, the dust off the slate. And as you can see, the water is absolutely minging black. So take the slate out like that and then put it to one side, put it into a different bucket. So I'm just going to put this grey slate that I've washed, take it out of the dirty water. As you can see, it's nice and clean now. Put it into the carrier bag. You can either use a bucket or a carrier bag, whichever. If you haven't got a bucket, then use a carrier bag. Okay, so once you've washed all the slate from the first lot, like this, I've put it into the carrier bag. It's nice and clean. Rinse the bucket outside, pour the dirty water down the drain and rinse the bucket out again, and put some more slate in it and do the same thing over again. And so you get enough slate to fill the top of your pot. to make your water feature once you've put the mesh on and everything. I'll show you the next part, what to do next after you have washed the slate. So I'm going to keep washing the slate now. It's going to take me a little while, and then I'll show you the next task. Whatever you do, don't rinse the dirty water from your slate down the sink in your kitchen, otherwise you will block your U-bend. Do not do it, because loads of people before have done this and they've blocked the U-bend. So get rid of it outside down the drain and it'll be fine, it'll wash away. So I'm just putting some more grey slate into the bucket after the first lot I've washed. Once you've got enough in the bucket, you can put quite a bit in, not too much, otherwise your water will be too dirty and it won't clean the slate. So I'm going to wash another batch of grey slate by pouring some boiling water onto the slate, like that. Just cover the slate so it soaks it in it for a little while, like that. Give it a little bit of a swish so it cleans the slate. If you use boiling water, it does come up a lot nicer than using cold water, and it's a lot nicer to touch with rubber gloves on because the slate's nice and warm then. So once your slate's nice and clean, it's not clean enough yet, so it needs to be soak a little bit in it. Keep giving it a swish so the slate is clean of dust. You can get already ready washed slate, so the type of stuff you put in fish tanks and things, but that is more expensive. I've just got some ordinary grey slate, like garden slate, because it's cheaper. Grey slate is really expensive. So especially the decorative stuff that you put in fish tanks, because obviously it's all glazed and it depends what you want to use, but I want it to be the same colour as my pots. So I've got just the normal ordinary 4mm, 40mm grey slate. I'll put a link to where I got that from on Amazon, but you get quite a big box full of it to do enough for 2 pots. So that's what I'm doing now, and then I will show you how to put the pots into the big pot. So you put the plant pots and the cardboard in the bottom to fill it up to the top, or you can put soil in it or whatever you want to fill it with, bricks or whatever you've got. Obviously if you use bricks then it's going to be really heavy to carry if you're putting it outside, so just be careful, don't lift anything that's heavy, get somebody to help you. Just make sure that there's enough space when you put the bowl into the pot to put the mesh over the top. Fill the bowl with water and then stand your water fountain on top of a plant pot in the bowl. You can stick, it's got like little suckers on the fountain, so you can stick the fountain to the plant pot inside the bowl, so then it sprays upwards. So that's the next task. After you've washed the slate, you need to work on the mesh. So what I do is I get this rodent mesh. You can get this off Amazon, it's really cheap, it's only like £3 for rodent mesh, and it's what you put over drains or air vents to stop rodents getting inside, getting in your house. But it's ideal for this type of thing because water gets in, but it stops leaves and things like that dropping into it, so it stops it bunging your water fountain up. So this is really good. Or you can use just chicken wire, but it's not quite as good as using this wire mesh because it doesn't stop the leaves getting into the water fountain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that to size like this. I've already cut this one to size, so it has to be the same size as your pot, like that. And then once you've got your plant pot in, I don't know if you can see, once you've got your plant pots and everything in the bucket, you put the wire mesh, cut the wire mesh and put that over the top. You'll have to make a hole in the middle of it so your water fountain can push up through the middle of that. So that's what I'm going to do next after I've done the slate. So that's the next bit. Hope you're with me, hope you haven't got lost.